This year we were able to hold the Youth Summit on the 6th to the 7th of December. Yeah, and this is the first day. Being the first day, maybe we're not so sure that the turnout will increase, but we are hoping that on 7th that people will come out in numbers.
This year's summit is still focused on the issue of sustainable development through the aversion of conflict. And majorly the three main pillars when we're looking at sustainable development has to be the social, the economic and political. And now that we are heading to the March 4th elections next year, I think it is a very relevant issue of discussion. It is a very relevant area that young people actually need to look at.
The purpose of this youth summit that we have and that we inhabit right now is to give the delegates that opportunity to instill in them the ideologies of peace, love, integrity, unity and diplomacy, because we need them to have these ideals as they come out of Kenya MUN, and for them to have the leaders that they ought to be and not the leaders that we presume that they should be.
Do you think it's about time that the government started limiting or even totally closing down its borders? We have so many refugees in Dadaab. The UN had to propose for us to expand the camp just last year, and it brought so many issues, and I do not want us to be all, the government is not doing enough. The government was against it until the Al-Shabaab issue became so badly that they were pressured into allowing an expansion of the camp.
There's a point where someone said that we actually put them in Dadaab and refrain them from moving. I want to read you guys chapter 2. It says they have rights. One, the right to seek asylum in a country outside their country of origin, which has agreed to be bound by the Refugee Convention. You guys need to argue your point on that. We are bound by the Refugee Convention. When we are bound by it, what are the demerits and what are the merits that we have as a country?
Another problem I think that's associated with putting refugees together, saying if you're a refugee, stay in this camp and don't move, is the fact that, let's say they're all coming in big droves and you put in one place. How are you supposed to fend for yourself? And maybe there are opportunities somewhere else. You will die there of poverty, lack of education. It's like you'll be bringing up a whole generation of uneducated, poor people just because they're refugees. So I think, just as you said, you give them ideas and allow them to go out there.
In an ideal situation, we should be able to accept these refugees and at the same time implement the security measures and have enough manpower and resources to ensure that our security is not threatened.
Why are these people coming in? Because of insecurity. By pushing them away for our own security, it's like we are balancing two rights and we are saying our right is more important than theirs, so they can die near the border. We are trying to help them, but then near the border. That's the first opinion. Then the second one, who said that these refugees are Al-Shabaab? Who defined that? Who said that the fact that they are refugees, they are already Al-Shabaab?
Our population is already high enough. Our budget is already 1 trillion.
And they do not add that.
Yes. The South Sudan students are usually given a bursary of $5,000 US a year. That is Kenya loan. They're given another like $5,000 US by who? By the UN. Yeah. So that is why when you go to a club, you'll find him checking his wallet and it's only dollars you see. Yeah, how do I compete with that person? They're taking our women away. That is another point. Yeah, that is another point.
In rejecting Somali refugees on grounds of national security, the group that was speaking for can have their representative come to the front, and the second representative can be Honorable Rosa. Please be speaking to us in the dais. Okay, proceed.
My name is Walter Misire. I'm against that idea, just as my good friends there were against. So we came up with such points as Kenya has all rights to reject accepting more Somali refugees because we don't want to inflate our budget just because of, we don't want to inflate our budget because of foreigners. We feel it's time that as a nation we took interest of our own people. We must amend or even get out of such protocols and agreements so long as we protect the interests of our own people. Thank you very much.
We found that when you look at the diplomatic relations between Kenya and Somalia, we found that these refugees are not Al-Shabaab. They are victims of the Al-Shabaab conduct in Somalia. They don't support. No refugee will be happy fleeing outside his home, leaving everything they own just to live in a camp. Trust me, life in the camp is not the most interesting life you can ever think of. However, we thought of the Kenyan government to accept all refugees, but assure that all the security, they are safe on their side and the refugees are safe in the camps.
This is my first time to attend the Youth Summit at Gigiri, and I think it was a wonderful experience. We discussed a lot of things that were honestly in line with what I expected. It was number one, it demanded a lot of research. The delegates were very, very willing to participate, so it was enjoyable. I learned a lot, different views, different opinions. Some you disagree with, some you agree with, but all in all, you learn a lot. I think MUN is the best club to ever join in any campus or anywhere else.
The questions that have really attracted me more was the issue of Al-Shabaab and Kenya, to reject refugees in Kenya, to Kenya, and the other one was the issue of financial aid in Africa. Since the morning to now, the best part that we have really contributed a lot was the one for refugees, because the house was divided into two groups, in favor and those against, and that created an environment where each and every person can put across his or her own opinion. I was one of the guys who was advocating for the refugees, because I'm Somali, I'm a Kenyan, but I'm one of the guys who understands their need, who understands how vulnerable they are, and at least we were the best who won it. But this summit is the best summit.
Today has been quite an awesome day. I really like the topics that were chosen for today. They are topics that we can relate to, topics that are real, pragmatic, and applicable to the Kenyan situation. Specifically, the topic on refugees was really brought out what Kenyans really feel. It was sad to see some extremities in Kenyans with regards to how they treat some people, but at the same time, it was even more encouraging to see the outcome, or the people on the other side trying to reach out to this side to encourage people to change that perspective. And I believe at the end of the day, whatever the World Youth Summit was set for was achieved.